Welcome to one of the master classes of the Forest Harvest CBNE Forum 2021. Thank you for joining us this week as we foster information exchange, capacity enhancement, market engagement, and political action in support of community-based NTFP enterprises. Our moderator for this session is Dr. Amanda Catalina Yode. She is the founder of Omar Nayod Foundation, a nonprofit in Indonesia raising awareness on local food, agriculture, and culinary arts. She is an environmental management specialist and the editor of the awarded book, Trailing the Taste of Gorontalo. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Nayod.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This master class will be a community food processing, and we will be hearing from several presenters across the region as they share best practices on community food processing, addressing challenges in meeting safety and quality standards, and conducting product development. Please note that we will be recording this session. We will be also translating this session into Filipino, Bahasa Indonesia, Thai, Khmer, Vietnamese, and Bisaya. If you need a translation, please click the interpretation button below and choose your language. You may mute or unmute the original speaker. If there will be translation from a foreign language to English, we invite everyone to go to the English channel. Questions and answers will be organized after all the speakers. Our first speaker is Mr. Kirby B. Depalan, an instructor from the Faculty of the College of Technology, Research-Based Product Development of Bukidnon State University in the Philippines. He has worked with several food industries and been involved with research and development, including patent drafting and instrumental chemical analysis. He also worked with community enterprises Mamasila and Iatco on local products such as cinnamon and turmeric. Welcome, Kirby, and thank you for joining us in this session.
Good day, everyone, most especially to the participants and organizers of this online event. I am Kirby Dipalan, a part-time instructor at Bukidnon State University. Today, I will be discussing about the quality and resource materials, including its importance and other aspects that would help the food processors to monitor the quality of their resource materials for the food products they produce to ensure high quality and safe products for the consumers. The content of my presentation includes the relevance of assuring high quality of resource materials from harvest to processing. Also, in this presentation, I will be giving a brief discussion on the production of resource materials in the farm and the harvesting practices that will ensure high quality of raw materials to be used for processing. This also includes the proper way of packing and transporting of the raw materials from farm and into the production area, the proper storage, and lastly, the common issues in handling resource materials. To begin with, let us first know how important is the proper production, harvesting, and post-harvest management of the resource materials to the quality of the end products. Now, production begins when the crops are planted on the fields. This aspect is greatly affected by the variety of the crop, the method of farming, and other conditions such as weather, quality of soil, and the occurrence of plant diseases or pests. This stage influences the nutritional composition of the raw materials as well. During harvesting, the quality of the commodities can be influenced by the seasonality of the
Ingin membawa
crops
bahasa
and
Indonesia,
the
kenapa?
method employed for harvesting.
Industri.
Usually, the crops that were harvested earlier or later than the peak season have been observed to be of low quality than those that were harvested during the peak season. And primarily, the harvesting of the crops is done manually, which allows for the initial quality control of the commodities since the harvesters can already sort or distinguish damaged from the quality ones. For the post-harvest management, this involves several methods that can maintain the quality of the produce and prevent the deterioration prior to the use of the resource materials. So, why do we need to assure the quality of the resource materials prior to production? Well, the primary reason is to produce high quality food products. So, when we say quality, this generally means the fit for use of a certain product or commodity. And in the case of the fresh raw materials and food products, the consumers base the quality on their expectations, needs, and goals for a product. Perceptions are observed by the senses such as the sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. And on the other hand, the needs and the goals constitutes the consumer's expectations on a product that must be satisfied by the producers. Another significance of ensuring quality resources is to extend or lengthen the shelf life of the products. So when we say shelf life, this refers to the period where the products are still fit for consumption. This aspect is dependent on the condition of the raw materials before and during the processing. Generally, high quality resources were reported to produce products that last longer upon storage than those that were sourced from commodities or resources with poor initial quality. In terms of the nutritional aspect, the loss of nutritive properties usually occurs during the post-harvest conditions of the resources. Improper post-harvest treatment will result to the significant loss of the nutrients due to the deterioration of the produce or commodity as influenced by the stress during handling and poor storage conditions. Proper harvesting and post-harvest handling can minimize the loss of nutrients by preventing the degradation or deterioration of the crops prior to processing. Also, by ensuring the proper care of resources from farm to production, the food loss associated with processing of raw materials can be minimized. As mentioned, production is affected by several factors such as variety, cultural practices or the farming methods, and other growing conditions. In the production stage, the interaction of these factors greatly influences the composition and nutritional properties of the crops. In terms of the variety, there are these varieties of crops that are superior to the other in terms of sugar content, disease resistance, firmness, and nutritional content. There are those varieties that were suitable for fresh consumption, and there are those that are intended for processing but are not appropriate for fresh consumption. So choosing the right variety for a certain food product will ensure high quality, which is preferred by most of the consumers. For the cultural or farming methods, this is mainly attributed to the practices of the farmers. Now, this includes the distance of the crops from each other, the amount of fertilizer added to the soil, and the interval of the crop production. Growing conditions such as the weather and diseases greatly affects the composition and nutritional attributes which will influence the quality of the end product later on. During harvest, the mature or ripe fruits and vegetables are being removed from the parent plant. This is usually done by hand, although there are already new technologies which are or which harvest the produce mechanically. Some are harvested mature but not ripe, and some are harvested fully ripe depending on the properties of the resource materials and the kind of product that the processors are going to produce. So for the crops that are usually transported at farther distances for a longer period of time, the ripening or deterioration is commonly prevented by cold storage during transport. So in other words, to ensure that the resources received is of high quality, the processors can check the temperature of both cargo, if there are any, and the raw materials upon receiving. The following step of harvesting is the packing and transportation. Now, the packing of the produce can either be done in the field or in packing houses. In the field packing of the harvested commodities, the usual packaging would include crates or boxes. Now, for the other developing countries, they use large baskets from bamboo and other sturdy materials from the forests. For large-scale production, a machine with a conveyor belt is a faster way of packing the raw materials. Now, the transport vehicle for the harvested commodities may vary depending on the distance and duration that the products will travel. So usually, for small and medium enterprises, the raw materials are transported from a nearby province or area using a available vehicles for such as motorcycles, pickup trucks, or even carts that are pulled by horses. For such cases, the raw materials must be processed immediately since they are more prone to damage. The last stage of the resource handling prior to the processing is the storage. So in some cases, where the producers are not for immediate processing, proper storage conditions must be followed to maintain the freshness and the quality of the resources. The ideal temperature for cold storage of the produce or commodities is at chilling temperatures for around 0 to 8 degrees Celsius. Now, this temperature prevents the ripening or wilting of the fruits and vegetables for processing. Now, storage area must also allow space for proper air circulation to the commodities, and in case of different commodities that are stored in the same storage area, proper arrangement must be grouped or proper arrangement must be followed, such as the grouping of uh, same commodities. For example, root crops to root crops, leafy vegetables to leafy vegetables, fruits to fruits, and cereals to cereals. This is to avoid contamination from other commodities. During the handling of the resource materials, there are several issues that must be addressed to avoid the quality decline of the resources prior to processing and ensure high quality of the finished products. One of them is the stress to the resource materials. Now, this can be a result of one or a combination of external factors such as temperature, microbial contamination, light exposure, and mechanical handling. So too low or too high temperatures will cause damage to the plant tissues, as well as the mechanical damage, such as bruises or cuts, which can initiate the contamination of microorganisms into the fruit or vegetables. To ensure the consistent quality of products, quality management or quality assurance must be in place from the receiving of the resource materials down to the processing and packaging of the finished products. So resource materials may undergo several tests or evaluation to measure their quality if they are appropriate for processing, such as the amount of sugar, the acidity, the firmness, and the maturity of the raw materials. So during processing, proper monitoring must be done to make sure that the raw materials are handled properly to avoid losses. During the packaging, strict sanitary measures must be implemented to avoid post processing contamination that may lead to the spoilage of the products. Lastly, one of the main challenges during the handling of resource materials is the food safety. Due to the growing demand for processed food products from natural sources, such as fruits and vegetables, by the health conscious individuals, concerns about food safety is also increasing. So, most of the consumers wanted to know the origin of their products, especially on how they are grown. Consumers nowadays have an issue pertaining to the application of pesticides or chemicals since they are aware of the negative effect of those substances to the body. However, the major food safety issue for food products is the contamination, particularly by the pathogenic microorganisms. Therefore, it is of prime importance to follow food safety protocols in the processing of the food products. Now, this ends my presentation. So if you need more detailed information about this topic, you may access the reference as listed below. I would like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful event. So once again, have a pleasant day to all and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you for sharing your
Good day,
knowledge.
everyone, most especially to the participants.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us, Kirby. For those who have just joined us, we just finished with our first speaker. And please mute your microphone if you are not speaking. Our next speaker is a Thai environmental specialist who has been living in Lao PDR for the past 20 years. Ms. Nongnut Fopis Ayamwang is the founder and general manager of the Salman Group, a small enterprise producing processed foods such as yogurt, ice cream, local fruits jams, juices, and dip sauces. Salban is a social enterprise providing employment to disadvantaged groups such as women and disabled people. Salban is an inclusive business buying products from local suppliers, contributing to local income generation and employment. Salban also provide practical training services on food processing, preservation, and storage, applying basic standards for food safety. You have 10 minutes, Nongnut. Please give her a warm welcome.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Good morning, everybody. My name is Nongnut Popes. You may be surprised that I am living in Laos. Actually, I'm from Thailand. So, but after living here long enough, I start to understand the whole culture and the lifestyle of Lao people. Uh, my present job is running a small business to take care of the well-being of the people here in Laos. Here, we are focusing at the healthy product actually, healthy and let's say food without preservative, and we say the fresh product, and the try to use local resources as much as possible. I'm not so sure if my presentation will be run by the organizer or I have to do myself. Okay, yeah. Let me start like this. Salman, we are very well known in Laos about food processing, but actually we are very small enterprise. So all the processing technique that we are using, it's basically is very primitive. Let's say it's very simple. Using pot and pan and some simple tools. For example, uh, thing that we made, it's not a sophisticated technology at all. Because we try to understand how people live and what is available in their society. So after being in Laos long enough, we start to realize that Laos still have a lot of problem with malnutrition. They don't have enough to eat. This is because of the availability of food is not always, not always available all year round, because when you have peak season, you have too much of everything. And when you have, low season, a dry season, there's nothing to eat. The problem in Laos is it's a very small community, very small country, and in a mountainous area. So it's very difficult to access from place to place. It's like, for example, I give you the example where we have our business in Vientiane, in the capital city. If I want to come to a place where I'm sitting now, it will take me 8 hours by car, by driving through 3,000 curves, let's say like that, up and down about the big mountain. So this is the problem of food shortage in Laos. I think it's not only they don't know how to grow, but they don't know how to preserve also. This is the main thing, because of the lack of knowledge. So that we have come up with the idea. After being in the field many times, we have been working with many projects in Laos. We start to see that there is abundance of food in Laos, because Laos is always covered with forest. But the problem is a lot of people still work in the field, and the cooking in Laos always using very simple tool. They use firewood still. You'll be amazed that Laos is an electricity producer. In the future, they're going to be like a battery of Asian. But in fact, Laos people still don't have, they're still out of a power line because of the topography. The country is so mountainous, and they have a very severe climate. Sometimes you have a lot of rain, and you have problem with landslide. So even you put a power supply, it's still some year the whole just collapsed, and the whole village doesn't have electricity. This is the problem, that it creates malnutrition at the end, because they don't have enough to eat. They cannot get access to how to get food. This is the problem. So Salman have been approached by some project with nutrition improvement and that kind of thing. Second slide, please. The project in Laos, they try to help to solve problem of malnutrition by educating people to grow vegetables, to have as a vegetable garden in the backyard, or to raise the animal. But then back to the same again. The problem in Laos is everything, a job always come to women. Woman, she's the one who also raise the children, work in the field, and cook and do the animal and everything. So the cooking time in Laos, it takes so long that sometimes when we have to be in the field, it would take like 2 hours to get the meal done, because they have to collect, they have to make a fire, and they steam sticky rice. They have to everything make on fire, not electricity or not gas. So it would take ages. So if you want to cook for kids, for example, women will carry the kid on the back, and the kids start crying, and the meal is not yet done. So at the end, the kid already collapsed, I mean, before the meal is done. And so whatever they have, they feed to the kid, like Lao eat sticky rice as a staple food. So they just give a ball to the sticky rice to the kid. So the kid gets something to eat, and they collapse, they fall asleep. So this is already the start of not having enough protein in the daily meal, because the cooking time, it takes so long. So make the kid somehow, if you see they have a lot of fruit, they have a plantation, but the way of preparing food, it takes so long. So the kid already has a collapse before the meal ready. This is some example. Then we have come to an idea, hey, we have to really do something to save the woman workload, because women usually the one who always work in the field, who prepare the meal, who raise the kid. So why can't we help the women to make their life a little bit easier? I mean, not to have to spend too much time in preparing the meal. Can you imagine yourself when you are in the city, you don't have to cook, you go to a restaurant, you can have a thing ready, that maybe not more than 15 minutes. For these Lao people, it would take them 1 hour, at the minimum 1 hour, until everything done, it take 2 hours. So we have come up with idea, since the project already support a lot of growing vegetable, raising animal, they have the chicken. So we said, hey, why not we try to preserve this food to make your life a little bit easier. We explain them. So you see, if you have a ready to eat, like a ready to eat noodle soup, like mama, bami goreng, and those kinds of things. We open the packet, you add the hot water, then it's already save you a lot of work. So we have seen that when they raise animal, they have a lot of chicken. So if you don't do anything with chicken, you keep feeding them, is also the extra cost that you add to the feeding. You have to spare some of your rice that you use it for your eating in your own, or you also spend so much time to also take care of animals. So I said, okay, if you want to eat meat or to eat chicken, you still have to kill the chicken. You have to trap the chicken and slaughter and do all the things and cook. So it would take some, and then you can never finish the whole chicken. I mean, if you kill one, you say, okay, maybe we can help you to solve this. So we teach them how to make the chicken powder out of the chicken, using sun-dried chicken and grind into powder, so they can always use to make a meal, or at least sprinkle to the sticky rice to feed the kid faster. Even you have nothing to eat, the kid, at least you have chicken powder, you have mushroom powder, and you have vegetable powder. So this thing we can feed the children quickly. It's similar to ready-to-eat noodles, the one that we city people are, accustomed to ready to eat, just throw hot water in there and it's done. This is one idea that we gave to, we teach them, and we've been teaching to a few villages already to do such a thing. But the problem in Laos, as I explained to you, that in Laos, in rainy season, it rains a lot. The humidity is very high. So drying process sometimes is difficult when you don't have a dryer, let's say a proper dryer. So this thing can, your dry product, maybe you can dry it in the daytime. It's very dry, but in the night, those product, it accumulate the moisture back. So you can never, preserve it very long unless you have a proper solution, like put in a vacuum bag or put in a glass jar and add some oxygen absorber. Those kind of things we are working with the project slowly. But the problem of, that we haven't been doing much after the last year, since the COVID breakout, last year. So we have stopped since the January last year. We didn't continue with the project, but we have been doing a lot of this basic activity with villagers in 2 provinces of Laos, around at least selected 14 villages. So they have been learning a lot. They learn how to make like a powder food, and they will learn to make how to preserve their ready to eat, like a dip sauce, local Lao that you can dip in sticky rice, for example. They're made from fish, fermented fish, chili, lemongrass, and those kind of things. So we teach them, okay, when you cook this kind of food, you see how long it takes. But if you can preserve it and keep in the jars, maybe it's easy that to take with you to the field. As a woman, you see, when you work in the field and you can carry this, ready to eat dip sauce, like in Indonesian, you call sambal, right? So this thing we teach them to make. They already make, they know how to make, but we teach them how to preserve, how to add and make to increase the shelf life. If you don't have electricity, that means you don't have a refrigerator also, right?
We have
this
1
is a big,
minute, Nong Nut. 1 more minute.
Yes. The next slide, please. I show you the example of the product that we have. This is, for example, a very simple technique that ready to eat food, for example, like the first picture on the left. Usually a lot of people eat a lot of this, a lot of chili and things like that. So we teach them how to sterilize it by transfer what already been cooked into glass jar, close it properly, and sterilize using very simple technique by putting it in the pot, yeah, and cook it for 1 hour or half an hour, depending how long they want to keep it. So if you keep it long, cook it longer, it lasts longer, but then all the nutrients also gone from the heat. So if they just plan to eat for 3 months, so no need to cook too long. This is an example that I show you how Salman promoting the preserving local food for their own consumption. We're not talking about exporting and that kind of thing. Make sure that they have enough to eat and food available all year round, and help to reduce the malnutrition problem. And next slide, please. And after working with a lot of villages, we discovered that in some area of Laos, where a mountainous area, and so the temperature is a little bit low, like north of Laos. They have one particular tree. They call it Maku in Lao language. In Thai language, they call Pachao Ha Ong, if there are any Thai audience. This is a very rare species in Thailand. There are not many because the deforestation in Thailand already happened before. So this kind of native plant in Laos still exist. There are plenty. They are we don't know if it's very healthy, but I think it's very healthy because it's full of fat, a very good fat. So we have discovered that a very poor farmer, the ethnic group who collect this during December, January. So they collect the nut and they take the seed out of the nut. So they sell it as a like a more they eat it more or less like a snack. But we have tried this this maku. Please go to the next slide, please. This is the typical of the tree that we have discovered in the two provinces and in almost in every city where they have a stream. So this kind of tree is very good to protect nature, to protect watershed. And if we want to protect this forest, we think we have to support the community or the villagers to get income from this. So Salman, our company plan that maybe next year we can try to introduce this new product to the market in the city in Vientiane among the upper customer group. We produce a high quality food product targeting at the high income group in Vientiane among embassy, among expats. So this is a plan that we want to use this specific walnut is to 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 get into the Vientiane market. So I hope this thing I can have some experience of local produce that can, how you say, can you can help the local people to get into the niche market of the high end or upper income group. This is the one example of the group. So we hope that we can do more next year after the COVID as a problem over. So we hope we can continue with the work. So thank you very much for listening to my story. And if you have any question, and you can feel free to ask, and I'm happy to share with you.
Thank you, Nongnat, for sharing your field experience and highlighting rural women's perspective in food processing. Welcome to those who just joined us. Our next speaker will talk about food safety and quality. He's a food technologist with experience in food safety documentation and training in ISO 9001:2015 as internal auditor. He also worked with the community enterprises Mamasila and IATCO. Please welcome Mr. Kervin Untalan, instructor from Bukidnon State University, Philippines.
Thank you so much for that pleasant introduction. So, good morning, everyone. It's great honor to be your speaker for this morning. And I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me for this event and to the support behind of this program. I am very grateful for this opportunity to speak with you and to share my experience and knowledge about food safety and quality. I hope I could deliver your expectations and be fruitful for this morning. So before I will going to start with, I would like to present to you the outline of this session. So for this session, we will having the food safety and quality and its importance. So what are those importance behind of this two terms, no, in the food system? And we have the source of contaminants and preventive controls. We will going to determine what are those source of contaminants and how we will going to prevent it. And of course, we will having the packaging and storage for shelf life stability without any using of artificial preservatives. No? So okay, so let's begin with this topic. So food safety and quality. So before I will going to give the description of these two terms, I would like to share this from World Health Organizations. According to them, 1 out of 10 people won't get fall ill after eating contaminated food worldwide. And based also on their studies, there are 125,000 children under 5 dies each year due to unsafe food. So imagine that if we were going to imagine that 10% of the population, it could be me, it could be you, or even our loved ones. And we don't know. So thus, this food safety and quality is very important in the food system. So one of this is okay, so the term food safety and quality can sometimes be confusing. But if we are going to analyze this, food safety, it refers to all those hazards, whether chronic or acute, that may make food injurious to the health of the consumer. It is not negotiable. So meaning of this, food safety focusing on the handling practices from raw materials to the end product to prevent any contamination from the food safety hazards. And then when we say quality, on the other hand, quality includes all the attributes that influence the product value to the consumer. So, for example, the sensory attributes such as the appearance, shape, and color. We have also taste, sweet to bland. We have also aroma or odor, pleasant or unpleasant, based on the specific product or intended product. And then quality also focuses on the nutrition and chemical components, as well as the functional properties that may have a great benefit to the consumer. So, in short, food safety is the standard, whereas food quality is based on the product and one's preferences. So, that is the difference between food safety and quality. So, we will going to source of contaminants. So in the source of contaminations or source of contaminants, in food safety, we will call this the food safety hazards. So it categorizes this into three. We have the physical hazard or the physical contaminants. For example, we have the hair, we have the foreign matters like twigs or leaves from the raw materials and dust. No, we have also the biological hazards. No, these are examples: the bacteria, viruses, parasites, molds, yeast. These are the examples of biological contaminants. And we have also the chemical hazards, which is unintended chemicals that may contaminate our food products. So these are the three categories. Then one of the common problems in the CBNE are the preventions of this contaminant and cross-contaminations during the processing of these food products, specifically the biological contaminants such as microorganism. That is the major cause of food spoilage. They are the responsible of early deterioration of our food product. So thus, the contaminants should be strictly controlled and minimized from the raw materials and to end product or process. So to be able to lengthen the shelf life of the product, one of our recommendations, specifically in Takasama and Yatko and Mamasila, are the facility of the closed processing area. So as you can see in these pictures, I have the picture of Yatko and Takasama, and in Mamasila is ongoing the construction of their processing area. So the purpose of this is to minimize air contaminants such as dust, pollens, microorganisms, pests, and animals from environment that may contaminate their products during processing activities. So second one, we also recommend to wear proper PPEs and apply good personal hygiene, such as wearing mask, hairnet, head cups, aprons, or gloves. Actually, gloves is optional. Removing of nail polish and jewelries. So and also applying hand washing with soap and hand sanitizers to prevent any physical and biological contaminations from the food handlers. And if possible, one person per steps of the process. Why? So that it will minimize the risk of cross contaminations inside the processing area. And then the third one is we also include the proper cleaning and sanitation of the food contact surfaces and sterilization of packaging materials. So in sterilization of packaging materials, we recommend this if their packaging material is glass type or glass jar. So such as using liquid detergent, not powder, to prevent chemical contaminations or what we call this the soap residues. So we recommend a liquid detergent. And for sanitation, we recommend to use chlorinated water. Aside of cheaper, it is effective as a sanitizer with 100 ppm concentration. This is the purpose of this is to minimize the microbial contamination. So as you can see on my slide, these are the formula for creating the concentration of the sanitizers. No? Then lastly, for the cooking process, we also advise them that they must reach the required temperature and time so that the microbial load of the product will minimize to help lengthen the shelf life of the product. So that's our recommendations from them in terms of food safety and also in the food quality. Now we will going so aside from food safety practices, packaging materials are also important in terms of food preservation because this is to protect our food products from environmental conditions and contaminants. So as I've seen on the website of Forest Harvest Forum, these are the common products that I identified. We have the chips product or dried products. We have sugar concentrates and acidified foods. And the last one is steam and baked products. So I would like to share what we suggest and advise on our partners who are producing chips, which is banana chips from Mamasila and Barangay Canayan. So since it's a chips product, the water or moisture of this product is low and it could be safe for bacterial deterioration. However, the common problem on this product are having the taste of decomposing oil or fats due to its fat content that prone in oxidation. So, we advise that the least packaging materials that could lengthen the shelf life of the product is the polyethylene bag or PE since this packaging is cheaper and easily to purchase. However, make sure that it is properly sealed and not exposed on direct sunlight so that the shelf life of this product will be prolonged. There are other packaging materials such as PFP, PP, nylon PP, and metallized polyesters are also effective for prolonging the shelf life of the product. However, these packaging materials are expensive than polyethylene and polypropylene. So we have also partners from Yatco who are producing turmeric teas. We suggest them to use the paper aluminum foil polyethylene laminated or PFP and metallized polyesters because of good barrier from exposure of light, air, moisture absorption, oxygen and other gases, and volatile aroma since turmeric tea is a dried and high volatile compound. So that as our recommendations for them. And we also have a partner from Takasama who are producing jackfruit and guava jam. These products are examples of sugar concentrates, which is preserved using sugar through increasing the amount of sugar and heat treatment to prevent microbial deterioration. We advise them to use glass bottles for packaging materials so that it will easily pasteurize since this packaging is flexible in terms of temperature treatments and good sealing for prevention of air exposure that is a common factor for microbial growth. Then aside of protection, it is also easy to place labels and apply packaging designs. So this is from the Takasama. And last but not the least is the steam and bake products. So these products are more critical in terms of packaging and storage condition due to its food properties. So these products are highly moist and rich in nutrients that is prone to microbial activity, specifically the steam products. The most effective packaging and storage condition for steam products are at least polyethylene or polypropylene bag and stored at chilled temperature to prolong its shelf life, not greater than 2 weeks. However, it depends on the steam product and its ingredient. For baked products, we suggest that laminated paper bags or polyethylene or polypropylene bags will prolong not more than 2 weeks in room temperature. However, it will vary on the type of baked product. So for cookies and sugar pastries, it will prolong not more than 3 months. So, therefore, through proper packaging and storage conditions and proper handling of finished products, we can control the factors that influence the microbial activity. and prolong the product shelf life, and also to maintain the good quality of the product. So thank you very much for listening for listening of my lectures. I hope that I provide the information. So for more details, please access these references for more information. So once again, thank you very much for this session. I hope that I provide the informations that you need in your community. So once again, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Gervin. Our last speaker for this session is Ms. Teofila Aris Praptami from Indonesia. Tami is the operations supervisor for PT Parara Bumi Nusantara, working on field and processing center assessment. She has been part of the Indonesian Forest Hanin Network and Niaga for over 10 years. The floor is yours, Tami, for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to the organizer for inviting me to share my experiences about product development challenges in community level with you today. I'm speaking on behalf of Parara Indonesian Ethical Store. Next. Next. Before we start this discussion about various challenges in developing product, it is better if we understand the meaning and purpose of a product development in a business unit. Product development is the process of developing a product by making changes to a product or creating a new product once. It includes concept creation, design, development, and marketing of newly created or recently rebranded products. Why is product development important to a business? Basically, the times era is constantly evolving. Technology and trend keeps changing. Therefore, you will rarely find a product that does not make any change but continues to sell for a long period of time. Of course, there are some products that have remained in the market over the years. However, not many businesses are able to survive like that, let alone CBNE. Every business must combine creativity, discovery, and ideas to develop a product that customer can continue to like. Product development must create added value to the customer so that there are strong reasons for customer to choose to buy your product with strong competition. It must also have a good impact on society, creating products that are healthier, environmentally friendly, and easy to access. If the product is accepted by customer, a lot of demand for your business will grow and develop. Turnover increase, profit increase, absorb more labor, and of course you can do some charity program in your business. Next, I will explain briefly how the process of product development is. The first process is the product manager or a person in charge of is must collect a lot of new ideas from from various sources, from the internet, social media, the own employees, and most importantly, involve the customer from the beginning. From the many ideas, select the one or two that is most feasible to develop. Marketing strategy development. After having a product to be developed, develop a marketing strategy, product from like shape, size, weight, design, profit target, distribution, and human resources needs. And then analysis business, and then do a business analysis, see financial feasibility, market demand, operating and production costs, analysis of competitors. The business analysis is very important to do to find out whether the product development plan is feasible or not for your business. Develop the product. Carry out the conversion of new product ideas by doing production. And then marketing test. At this process, product testing is a continuation of the product development stage. The state of product testing include testing the product concept, product design testing, testing consumer preference for the product, laboratory testing of the product if needed, factory operation test, and product usage test. After management, the company is satisfied with its products. The further testing is aimed at knowing consumer reaction. The last process is commercialization or product launching. Is ready to know the target market according to the initial target, the speed of acceptance of consumers and distributors, the number of distributor stores, production capability, the effectiveness of price promotion activities, and the condition of business competition. You can see the picture. This is cassava, and the product we have from the community is flour cassava. Flour cassava. It's called mocha flour. Consumers are not familiar with cassava flour. Selling flour does not interest them to buy. So we do product development by processing cassava flour into several products. It is more accepted by customer and we get more profit from developing this product. Next. 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 What are the challenges in doing product development based on my experience working with communities in developing their product? The first is internal challenges. It is all form of challenges or disruption or deficiencies that come from within the business that prevents conduct of a successful product development. Here I present some of challenges at CBNE and I will only highlight a few points. First is unstable raw material available. Most CBNE raw materials are not mass produced and are highly dependent on climate and natural conditions. So it is very important to look for more than one source or location of raw materials when developing a product. CBNE must dig deep into the product knowledge of the raw materials to be able to determine many strategies that support product development. Another challenge is inadequate human resource quality. So you need to look for partner for cooperation in developing products that have the same vision and complement each other, but do not spend any money for this. If you are an expert in production, then you are looking for partners with other abilities, like example, marketing or finance expert. And then lack of updates information from the market will you lack of ideas too. So you have to find as much information as possible. Use social media to explore more, not for friendship only. Look at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and any more, and many more. Identify food procedures that are going viral or are on the trends to know what the market is looking for. Join free online marketing strategies classes. Next. Many CBNE do not have good financial records. That is why many determine prices based on estimation of when their selling price are too high and unable to compete in the market. Produce product is many CBNE produce product in a large quantity without knowing the estimate market demand. Many CBNs do not have sufficient funds to develop their products. The CBNA need to maximizing existing resources, tools, facility, labor, and others before making major investment. The handling time do not take too long to prepare a product development plan. Take quick decision to immediately start the procession trial and produce testing. Next. And the other challenges is come from external challenges. The first is food manufacturer and trading companies. They will develop their product very quickly based on current trends or package the product with attractive design and packaging very quickly distribute to customer. The price is relative cheap, easier to get by customer, practical way of consumption, wide variety of food, has a longer shelf life, interesting promotion, zero or cheap delivery costs. And the last important thing is another challenge is that almost all customers feel comfortable buying and consuming imported product. Why? Because imported product, more attractive design, fast distribution, many kind of innovation, flavor, benefit, many product claims benefit based on research. Many product already have quality assurance certificate, organic certification, ISO, TFS, and many more certification. That's all. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Tommy, and welcome to those who just joined us. It is now time for an open forum. If anyone has questions for any of our speakers, please turn on your camera and wave to us, or raise your hand by clicking the reaction button below on your screen if you can see that, or type your question in the chat and mention to whom the question is addressed. Questions or comments are welcome. So it doesn't have to be a question. Perhaps any of you would like to share experiences in developing local products, any problems or any inspiration, that would be very much appreciated. If there are no questions yet, I would like to invite the speakers if they could say one or two more sentences that they think are very important in relation to their subject. You're most welcome. Okay, we have a question from NTFP-EP, Phils Jamfiaf Labadan, to Sia Bao Group. What are your challenges and successes as community-based food enterprise? So perhaps Nongnut, you could respond to that. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Kirby. Nongnut, yeah, right, Nongnut. Is Nongnut still there? Would you mind answering the question, Nongnut? So the question is, what are your challenges and successes as community-based food enterprise? You can unmute, Nongnut.
Check. Okay.
Yeah,
Is
you're
it
on.
working now? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, because it was the problem with the unmute. The challenge of, you could hear me, right?
Right. It's
Okay, you know the thing with Salman is the challenge is the Lao has so many nice products, but the problem is it's very not people know about what the Lao people have because they live so far away. We try to put ourselves into how you say promoting things that to help villagers to get some income. But then the since the country is very small, so that means the consumer also quite small. So whatever you make, you cannot sell everything. You cannot. This is the limit of the our capacity because we are not playing with export product. We are focusing at domestic market only. So this is something that I think it give us some opportunity to work on that.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Any more question or comment? Do we have Mr. Kirby and Mr. Kervin here?
Yes, ma'am. We are here, ma'am.
Yeah, if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
there is a before we go to the another question, if you could share with us some important points that you would like to stress again in this master class.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, one of our challenges that we encountered in CBN is specifically at the our partner in Takasama, which are producing jackfruit jam and guava jam. Lately, we experiencing a early food deteriorations of their products. So our we analyzed and we assess the processing area, and one of our recommendation is during their process their products, we observe that there are a lots of people who handling the product, which is it may cause contamination or source of cross contamination during the processing of the product. And then that's why I'm stress it in my presentations that at least one person per process, because it to minimize the risk of cross contaminations. And then another one is, since they don't use preservatives or artificial preservatives rather, we suggest also that after they pack or after they seal the jars or the packaging materials, we suggest that they will subject into pasteurization, or what we call this HTHT, high temp and short time, at least, so that it will also minimize the microbial load of their products. So that are our recommendations for them. And so far, to we conduct also a product development on that, and so far it lengthened the shelf life of the products.
Thank you, Kervin. Before we go to the next question, there is someone who wants to ask in Vietnamese. Maybe you can raise your hand so that the organizer can spotlight you, and then you can mention who the question is addressed to, so that our interpreter could translate your question if the speakers do not speak Vietnamese. So while we are waiting for the question in Vietnamese, or if you could write down that in the chat room and the interpreter can help us. There was a question earlier if it is advisable to wear gloves during processing. So either one of the speakers could respond to that.
I to my opinion, it depends what what you are processing. Like in my business, we are doing dairy product. It's necessary to wear gloves for
Yes,
sure.
I
Yeah.
agreed with Ma'am Nongnut. It depends on the food products that they were going to process.
Okay, thank you. And then there's a question to Tami from Noime Solia. In your experience, how many production runs or trials you made before you come up with a good product that is already ready to sell?
Okay, I will answer in Indonesia
Oh,
to make it.
okay. All right.
Okay,
So the interpreter could translate
okay,
that.
okay. Uh, untuk trial biasanya hanya dilakukan 2 kali. Satu untuk yang pertama sebelum trial adalah diperlukan benar-benar konsep dari produk itu sendiri itu mau dibuat apa. Kemudian setelah itu baru kita create produk itu, produksi produk itu. Yang pertama adalah kita trial di internal dulu, kemudian kita evaluasi, kemudian setelah evaluasi baru kita luncurkan produk itu ke pasar. Jadi cukup 2 kali, tidak lebih dari itu karena akan membutuhkan banyak source atau tenaga biaya.
Thank you, Tami. There is a follow-up question since you were in the Forest Honey Network. The question, is that compulsory to use gloves for honey products?
Oke. Yes, sangat dibutuhkan, tetapi bukan sarung tangan untuk medis, tapi sarung tangan plastik sangat-sangat dibutuhkan karena sifat madu yang higroskopis dan banyak handlingnya itu banyak terbuka madunya, jadinya itu sangat dibutuhkan untuk memakai sarung tangan dari proses panen sampai diproses di rumah produksi.
Thank you, Tami. There is a question from Hong Phan from Vietnam. Our challenges from Vietnam is the output for our products. The price is decided by the buyers, and they take advantage of this to lower the price. So any of the speakers who have experiences with pricing could respond to that, please.
I can give my experience with pricing. For example, we also working with forest honey here in Salman. We have the honey from the north and from the south. Usually we are the one who set up the price, not the consumer. Why we set up the price? Because you have to always compare our rival product, say a competitor. You have to also look in the market. What is the price in the market? Then you can set up the price either close to them or a little bit more than them. Why is more than them? That means your quality is better, or you have you have your unique product and things like that. So the price is usually your product will tell the price. If your product is good, the customer will pay anyway. If your product different from the rest, I mean, it has to do a lot with your own product and your own how say organization. Like our product, our company, for example, because we are in the position that people trust the quality, whatever we make, past our standard. It's usually people willing to pay because they know that we already select a very good quality raw material. It comes from because of the social enterprise, because of inclusive business. So those kind of things, it will give you the opportunity to set up your own price. I think this is the difference when you have so many players in the market with the same product. Of course, the consumer will set up the price. They will suppress to get as cheap as possible because you so many supply. Let's say like that. I mean, this is the role that you could play. Sometimes you have to control the volume, that it should not be too much. even if too much, you have to be able to store it, not to release on the market too much. This is my trick of my business. Thank you.
Thank you. I have note from the organizer that we kind have to repeat Tammy's answer for the previous question, and then we have to translate it into English. And then there's also another question for Tammy. Do we have the Indonesian English interpreter here? Can the organizer let me know whether we have the Indonesian English interpreter here? If not, I will have to translate it. Yeah. We have the interpreter. Her name is Natasha.
Okay.
So, all right. Natasha, are you there? Can you write down in the chat if you're there? So that you could interpret Tammy's answers, because there are 4 questions for Tammy. The first one was how many trial runs do you do? So was it 2, Tammy?
Yes, right.
Okay, so 2 trial runs. And then the next question is whether you need to use gloves for honey products. And Tammy said, yes, we need that because of the hygroscopic nature of honey. Now, Natasha is here, the interpreter. And there are 2 more questions, Tammy, whether you can see the chat room or I can read it to you. The next question for Tammy is, how do you decide on which raw materials to develop into a product? And how do you decide on what kind of product to develop? So raw materials into product, and how do you decide what kind of products to develop?
Oke, Natnat, kamu butuh yang lebih ini ya, nggak terlalu cepat ya. Oke, yang saya lakukan adalah saya lakukan riset pasar, kemudian mendata semua bahan yang ada dari komunitas yang diserap oleh Parara. Kemudian apa yang bisa diolah itu dengan melakukan
what can be processed. They are all done by
hanya melalui media sosial, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube dan sebagainya, mana produk yang tren, kemudian baru melihat dari bahan baku yang ada di kafe itu mana yang bisa dikembangkan. Apakah bisa dikembangkan sendiri atau kita harus melibatkan orang luar. Nah, baru setelah mengetahui apa yang harus dikembangkan, apakah dikerjakan sendiri, kemudian apakah memerlukan banyak investment atau tidak, itu kemudian baru kita putuskan untuk melakukan product development terhadap bahan baku yang dipilih tadi.
Thank you. And there is also a suggestion for Nongnut to respond to that question as well.
Okay.
You mean which product we want to develop?
The question is,
material, right?
The question is, how do you decide on which raw materials to develop into a product, and how do you decide on what kind of product to develop?
I will answer your third question first. Which product you want to develop? For us, we are the producer who produce dairy product, and we do the delivery to the shop, and we observe the behavior of consumer also, see what they buy, or even to look at ourselves. What do we need per day? What do we need morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner? This is something that is a very basic thing to see what to develop. So, okay, I need care for my breakfast. I need yogurt for this and that, or I need something like a savory product for dinner. This is comes up already there. Okay, then we have to develop the product like that. But usually when we buy raw material, we have to always think that this raw material, what can you make product out of the same raw material? Usually we try to make the product that, you say, use the same raw material to make in order to be able to buy more in a big volume so you can get a lower price and it's easy to manage with the handling, with the transportation, with storage. For example, if I make jam, I will use the same fruit to make juice, to make sauce. This is something that what kind of material I need. I have to look for what kind of product I want to sell and what kind of product that I can make and what is the price that make me feel that I can compete with the other import product. This is the thing that we always want to substitute the import product, for example, with jam. This is a good example that people usually buy the import product from outside. So if you want to make the same product, I mean, similar product to substitute the import, it has to be more or less the same quality, the price a little bit lower. This already give us the idea to start with. And then we look for the raw material. If we don't have exactly the same, for example, if we don't have a raspberry and those kind of things, can mulberry do the job? Can the other forest berry do the job or not? So we have to experiment on that. And that's how it starts.
Thank you. So the next question also could be answered by Tami and Nongnut. Is your output from product development always a success in terms of marketability, Tami?
Uh, Tidak selalu. Jadi itu kenapa perlu dilakukan market test, uji coba produk di pasaran, kemudian kita tarik feedback dari customer, kemudian baru kita lakukan evaluasi dan perbaikan produk. Jadi itu harus terus-menerus dilakukan.
Yeah, I hope you can translate that, Nat. And Nongnut, what would be your response to that? Is it always a success in the market?
I would say 80% to 90% it's a success because we usually we develop things that how you say we think it's going to succeed. We have the feeling for it. So that's why most of the product that we try to develop always success. Let's say I would say 90%. The missed 10% maybe is not success at this time of the year. Maybe in 2 years, things will get pick up by customers. So a lot of product that we are developing, it may take one to 3 years until the customer start to appreciate us, start to understand the product. It takes some time. You cannot just develop one product and get it in the market in a few months. No, it needs a while. It needs a lot of information and need a lot of marketing work. So it takes time. So, but if you really know what you want and if you really know, you understand what customer want, you can succeed your product development very, very, how you say, successfully. It may take time, but this is most of entrepreneurs, they may give up because when they don't succeed in 2 months, they give up. But for us, we continue doing. Why we don't succeed with this? Could be the how you say the taste or the packaging is not interesting or it's not convenient enough for consumers. So there are a lot of things you have to answer to answer your consumer that this still really solve their problem of their life. It's not only solve problem of your business, but you have to solve the problem of the customer daily life too. Yeah, this is that's how we come to our product development. It has to come with everything. Thank you.
Okay. For the last 2 minutes, I would like to give the opportunity to Mr. Kirby. If you have a final statement or a final thing that you would like to mention to our participants, that would be very much appreciated.
Good morning, everyone. For my presentation, I would like to emphasize the importance of monitoring the quality of the resources from its harvest and into its receiving in the production area and into the processing and the packaging of the end product, because uh, the quality assurance system will help in maintaining the consistency of the quality of your product, and the consistency of that quality will determine the marketability of your products in the market. So uh, the more you can maintain that quality, or that shall we say uh, that characteristics of your product, and the more customers will buy your products. So uh, for the processors, you have to at least uh, call this one formulate or draft your quality assurance measures, uh, just even just for a simple quality assurance measure, such as uh, observing the maturity of your raw materials, or uh, the how we say the the processing protocols during the processing, and also in the packaging. So the quality of your packaging, and the quality of your end product. So you have to monitor that, and it should be consistent. And that's all.
Thank you for all the questions from the participants. And also thank you to our panel for the helpful answers. To close, I would like to highlight some following points. We have talked about food processing in a comprehensive way. It is important to share experiences among producers and across countries, as they will inspire us to come up with either new packaging, techniques, or new products. Please be confident in your activities, because sometimes we are not sure whether we are doing the right thing, whether people will like our products or not. But as we can see from this Forest Harvest Forum, assistance and help is there from all of us and from all the organizations that are here in this forum. Finally, our variety of culture, food, and creating unique and quality community products, as well as consuming them, that's the most important thing. We don't just produce. There have to be people who like to consume them, because it is necessary. Consuming local products, producing local products are important, and very important in protecting our only place, which is the earth. So keep doing good things. Please stay healthy. And that is today for the master's class on community food processing. Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you have learned from this session, and please join us in the other sessions of this Forest Harvest CBNE Forum 2021 happening throughout this week. And you can see the link for the next session in the chat room. Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.